Bear down, Bears fans. It is that day once again. The waiver wire is abuzz. Players are being let go left and right. It's not a great day for a lot of these players. They've risked it all to try to make a team, and that team now is telling them, "Hey, you're not going to make the cut." So this is one of those bad days in football. It's a necessary evil, of course, but it's not something that you want to see. What you would like to see is you would like to see kumbaya, everybody kind of get along. You want to see you want to see everybody make the team. It just unfortunately it is just not possible. Also, Caleb Williams has deleted a message. You want to know what that message was about? Caleb Williams. Now, I think this means that Micah Parsons might not be coming to Chicago after all. However, yesterday, CD Lamb finally signed his contract, 136 million for 4 years, making 7 million more per year than DJ Moore in his new contract. Big, just a gigantic, massive deal. Meaning that there's probably not enough money to sign Micah Parsons anymore for the Dallas Cowboys, indicating that they most probably are going to have to move on. So, what ends up happening is Caleb Williams retweets a fan post talking about, and it's some kind of, what do you call it? Like a fan site that, like the Caleb Williams fan club. And what he reposts is with CD Lamb extension, the Cowboys probably cannot afford to extend Micah Parsons. King polls work your magic, and Caleb Williams retweets that, looking for Micah Parsons to be that next guy. And so then Caleb takes that down or unretweets it, if you will, because that's a complicated sort of thing when your quarterback is out here telling you, telling you what's going on. So on Monday, Dallas Cowboys agreed to a 4-year contract with CD Lamb worth 136 million. That started speculation that Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott or edge rusher Micah Parsons could be on the trading block soon, as Jerry Jones might not have the will or the cash to keep all three on the roster after Lamb's pricey extension. So then that led to Caleb Williams reposting about Micah Parsons and, bring him in. And look, we just traded for Dale Hunter. So this is an interesting sort of thing. And by the way, we're at roster cut day, so stranger things have happened. But Williams has since removed the repost from his X account after it went viral. Many people on social media thought Williams' repost meant the Bears might be in on a potential trade. After all, the Bears recently attempted to trade for Matthew Judon 2 weeks ago. No verifiable reports have surfaced in recent days that the Cowboys intend to trade Micah Parsons, and certainly none to the Bears. The Bears recently made 2 trades for defensive line help. They traded a 6th-round pick to the Seahawks for Darrell Taylor and a 6th-round pick to the Cleveland Browns for Chris Williams. Now, listen, doesn't mean that you can't make another trade after that. So remember, Ryan Poles is constantly trying to make deals. He's constantly trying to improve this team. Pairing up Micah Parsons with Montez Sweat would become a game changer. Now, the other thing is, do the Bears have the money to do it? And the answer to that actually is yes. The Bears do have the money right now to sign Micah Parsons. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The question then becomes, well, where do you free up any payroll in the event that you might have some payroll that needs to be freed up? And I got that answer for you. There's Brett Rippon, by the way, has been released. We'll go over that in just a moment. But Larry Borum also expected to be released. That will save $3 million in payroll for this team. So this is there's certainly an opportunity here for some moves to be made. Not a lot, but some opportunity for some moves to be made. So the possibility could certainly exist that this could happen. All right. Financially, that is. So, guys, just be looking for Micah Parsons information over the next little while. he may not even be on the trading block. Jerry Jones might be able to just, back the truck up and do whatever it is that and do whatever it is that he needs to do to keep Micah Parsons on the team, or he can move on. So when we get more information about it, we will let you know. And as a matter of fact, in the time that I've been getting ready for this, there's been cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts coming from the Bears. So we're going to talk about some of that right now. Brett Rippon has been released. The Hall of Fame game standout is vested and free to sign elsewhere immediately, which means that the Bears are going to hold on to Austin Reed. Now, this is surprising to me, but when you watch the product on the field, Austin Reed, it was a really good quarterback. Now, I think this comes down to a level of confidence in Tyson Bagent. I don't think that this is I don't think this is a testament to Caleb Williams. I think this is that they are real comfortable with Tyson Bagent as the backup, and they don't need Brett Rippon. So that's saving $1 million on the payroll too, by the way. So there are some moves being made. Now, along with Brett Rippon being released, again, free to sign elsewhere right now, Colin Johnson and Jake Curran have both been released as well. Curran, he had 29 games and 9 starts in Seattle. He has been released. Testament to the power right now of this team and the ability of this team to have depth at the offensive line position. So Jake Curran is on his way out. Also on his way out, as reported now, Colin Johnson. The Bears have not officially waived him, but they are planning a waiver. He's been out since the 2-touchdown performance in the Hall of Fame game. He is healthy now and is expected to be re-signed to the practice squad if he clears waivers. Jake Curran, and there's no purpose for a waiver and what do you call it? A practice team. So Colin Johnson possibly to the practice team. Jake Curran going to the open market. Brett Rippon going to the open market. So there are moves that are being made right now, and that's what we have at this point so far. Now, to talk about yesterday. Yesterday we had 9 players released, bringing the total down to 78 with Brett, Jake, and Colin. That brings us to 75. We're still going to have 22 more players being released over the course of this day, and the Bears are on the clock right now. They do not have a lot of time. Now, look, this is difficult to tell a lot of these people that you're just not going to make the team. You're just not, you're just not cut out for what we're looking for right now. It's a very complicated sort of process and a very complicated conversation to have. So we want to wish everybody the best in this. Just because you don't make this team doesn't mean it doesn't mean you can't find success somewhere else, and that you're not cut out for the NFL or anything like that. So just the Bears, the quality of competition on the Chicago Bears has gone up exponentially in the last 2 years. So some very good players are starting to hear their name called and be released. Deirdre Jones says, release Velus Jones Jr. I do not think Velus Jones has a chance at being released. I don't think that is on the agenda at this point. And not that I wouldn't agree with you or not have a problem with it. I actually think that that's probably one of those guys that, if I had to make a choice, I would be looking at, this guy's really had a lot of opportunity. He's had a lot of time, and nothing's really kind of come to pass with him. But I think that what they're looking at is they're looking at him as a running back and as a special teams guy, and DeAndre Carter, who is probably going to make the roster as the number 5 receiver. He does a decent job as a kick returner without the fumbles and without the drop balls and stuff like that. So, you might be looking at Velus Jones on his way out, but the Bears still see something in him, and I think they want to continue. Now, with that being the case, there are a lot of roster moves that happened yesterday. I'm going to give you a quick list here in case you didn't know about that. John Jackson III, Caleb Williams' best friend, was released, and Peter LeBlanc was released. He was a rookie Then you have Jatire Carter and Jerome Carvin from the offensive line. Now you have Jake Curran from the offensive line being released. Defensive lineman Michael Dwumfor and Jalen Hutchings were released yesterday. Paul Moala, rookie, and Javen White were released. And then Quindell Johnson were also released. So that's what we have so far. And I am refreshing as we go to kind of get an idea. Now, there are here's what I think is happening right now, just to be clear. I think that we're watching the waiver wire, and right now the Vikings just released Kene Nwangwu. Tyler Higbee is on the PUP list, and he's going to miss 4 games. Packers waived Jalen Wayne, running back. Panthers just released Mike Boone. The Bengals waived PJ Jules. There's nobody really out here that I've seen in any context that I think is a pickup at this point, but I think they're going to be waiting. Quarterback Nathan Peterman was just released by the Raiders. The Saints just released running back James Robinson. Bailey Zapp was released by the Patriots. The Giants have released Allen Robinson. I don't think we need help in any one of these areas right now. The Panthers have relieved Felipe Franks at tight end. Nose tackle Jaquelin Roy from the Vikings. So he'll be traded or waived by today's deadline. That is a possibility because we are still looking for somebody at the tackle position. Or maybe, I don't know if Chris Williams is enough at this point. The Cowboys have waived Peyton Hendershot. Patriots are waiving Mitch Wilcox, tight end. Defensive end Sam Kamara is being waived from the Browns, but he's expected back on the practice squad. And I don't think we're looking for practice squad people. So there's plenty of. By the way, there's a long list of people that are being released right now. So we'll stick with what we've got here right now and say that seems to be at this point the end of it. Brad Biggs, by the way, for the Chicago Tribune, he's covering a lot of this stuff today. So as we get information, as we know, if there's anything pressing, then I'll make a video about it to let you guys know exactly what it is that's going on. And then Bears Communication, if you haven't already, follow them on Twitter. That will give you kind of an idea of what's happening. So, but that's it. That's a very small update for the day, guys. It's I would think here that well, you know what? Let's talk about some questions here. It would be a bad move to trade Bagent now. His value will go up and up and up, especially when quarterbacks get injured. I would agree. You probably have him for another 2 years, and you would get him for what is he being paid? As a matter of fact, and to be fair here, I do think the Bears are going to give him a raise because he's probably. He's probably been every bit the player that they've wanted him to be and done everything that possible. And he makes $900,000 per year. I could see him getting a raise to like $2 or $3 million a year for the next 2 years of his contract or something like that. By the way, Bill Murray looks like he's going to make the roster, and I think that's hilarious. So we should probably make some memes with Bill Murray, the actor's face on him, because that would be kind of hilarious. Some of the people that we're looking at that just might not make it. Daniel Hardy, that's going to be kind of weird. So, here's what I think is going to happen. Okay. What I think is going to happen with Tyson Bagent is I think he's going to stick around at least through next year. And then after that, Austin Reed will have come alive and Tyson Bagent will be a man in demand, in my opinion. And if the man in demand, Tyson Bagent, wants a trade to a team that he can start for, that he can, get an opportunity to start for, then I think that there will be a trade. And I think that he provides long-term trade value for Ryan Poles. So I think that, you're not going to let him go right now, but he is a huge, huge bargaining tool that the Bears are going to have going into the next 2 seasons. You know what I mean? You're probably not going to financially, you're not going to bring in a huge player, but I mean that, imagine the draft picks that you could get for an undrafted free agent. Let me just, point this out here. It's an undrafted free agent that happens to be at least on the level of the low end of the best 32 quarterbacks in the league, where, we're having a serious conversation about that. Evie Warrior, yes, Bagent has 2 years left. So, I would suspect that he's let me see here. 923 is his number. He's signed for 2 more years. So he's signed through 24, 25, and yeah, 26. So yeah, he's 4 years. So I mean, that seems like to me that I would think that he becomes a good bargaining tool down the road to make a play for a team that's desperate for a quarterback. So, and I would say here's what I would think in the event, and this is rare, by the way. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but in the event that Caleb Williams lives up to some of the hype that we have for him on the positive side, on the positive side, if Caleb Williams lives up to some of that hype, then you're going to see Tyson Bagent come in for some quote unquote mop up duty on some big wins and stuff like that in the event we can get lucky. And that's just going to be basically a showcase for the asset that the Chicago Bears have. Again, no disrespect to Tyson Bagent, but if you got your quarterback of the future already, then this guy's a good quarterback and wants to get an opportunity to play, and you're going to need to take advantage of the opportunity that you have to use this guy as trade bait to get yourself somebody a little better. Sophisticated Thoughts says Colin Johnson. Yeah, Colin Johnson is being put on the waiver wire for the purpose of signing on with the practice squad. So if he clears waivers and is not claimed by anybody, and by the way, the Bears had, what was it, the number 9 pick overall. So, there's probably 8 other teams that have an opportunity to, or there's probably 9, 22, 20. God damn, I can't do math in my brain anymore. You got 23, you got a bunch of teams that are probably looking, and he might fit for somebody. So there is a risk to all of this. You never know what might happen. Let me hit refresh here real quick, see if there's anything else. So it looks like it's gone a little bit silent right now. Yeah, the last thing is Kane Nwangu. So yeah, the waiver wire, it's going to explode in the next couple of hours. You're going to start to see a lot of releases. Oh, one more thing I should point out. Patrick Scales. Patrick Scales is going to be starting the season on the injured reserve. So this means, and this is coming from Brad Biggs over at Chicago Tribune, sounds like the Bears could be planning to have 3 players start on a short season IR. 2 can be designated before cuts to 53. If they want to place 3 on IR, 1 would have to be carried on the initial roster after 3 p.m. before that move could be processed. So we could see Patrick Scales be moved, and then we can have a long snapper temporarily on the roster for a while. Another thing that came up here, and I'm not going to get too deep into it because this is a bad day. A former Turk at Hallis Hall gives advice on handling cuts with the Bears needing to reach the 3-man roster by 3 p.m. Understand you are crushing someone's dreams at that moment in time. So they're talking about now the uncomfortable moment where these things happen. So like to see a lot of these guys stay on the roster. 53-man roster is what it is. And Daniel Hardy of all the people in preseason, Daniel Hardy would probably be one of those guys that I would really, really like to keep. I like the fire that he brings. Darrell Taylor coming in, however, made him expendable. So this is hard. And here's the other part. The other part is, and I think he might have misspoken. I don't want to say that this is correct, by the way, but if you guys remember, a couple days ago, Matt Eberflus was interviewed, and he said something about Dominique Robinson being in that rotation. I don't think that means that Dominique Robinson has made the team. I think that was just him saying that was the name that he remembered at the moment in time. So I think when he was saying that there was a rotation and included Dominique Robinson, I think that he was just kind of thinking about it because that was the first name that came to his mind as a for instance. I don't think that means that Dominique Robinson has made it. And I don't think that Dominique Robinson is as good as Daniel Hardy at this point. I think that we've seen the product on the field. So it would be a mistake, in my opinion, to choose Dominic Robinson over Daniel Hardy. But you know what? Ultimately, there's something that they might see that I don't see. So, we'll see what happens there. I said we'll see a lot. God damn it. All right. Anyway, so that's it for the moment. No more releases. I'm watching the live feed here, and I don't see I don't see anything. Last release there, Jake Curran. So they're having some conversations with people today, and we'll as we get more information, if anything comes up, then we'll make a video about it. But that's it, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you that take the time today to come check me out. So if you would, hit that like button on your way out, and remember to bear down. We're not going to say that F Green Bay thing anymore. But yeah, we don't like Green Bay. Green Bay is, what do they call it? Stank. Green Bay is, what do they call ass? Green Bay, ugh, gross. All right, guys, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good day. And if anything pops up,